Alright, so story time. My wife is transgender. We've been together for 12 years in December. Wait, it's December, oh my god. Okay, so we've been together for 12 years at the end of this month. And we've lived all over the US. We've lived in Indiana, South Carolina. We've spent time in Missouri and now in Florida. We've been in Florida like 4 times. And one of the times we've lived in Florida, at the beginning of this time, we worked together at Disney World. And this is a picture. That is my wife, Erin, with an E. As you can see, it used to be different. But we don't use that version anymore. We use E-R-I-N. Please bear with me because this is my first time talking on camera. But I think our story is really wholesome, and sometimes it chokes me up, sometimes how adorable it is. But anyway, I wanted to tell it. And so we've been together for 12 years, and a year into that, we found out that I was pregnant. We didn't use protection one time, and we decided on adoption. We are pro-choice, but we just kind of thought it sounded cool, like a adventure kind of thing. And it was. Like, you don't expect things to turn out the exact perfect version of how, like, the best case scenario, you know? But it really did. It turned into this thing that we have this beautiful family where our daughter has 2 moms. Completely unintentional on our part that she now has 4. But we just really bonded with her moms, and we really liked them. They think very similarly to us. They go every day with kindness. And we had that really amazing experience together, and we made it through it. Our relationship survived. It's been really incredible that our communication has been able to really withstand some things that would break a lot of people apart. And at the beginning of the year, when my wife came out as transgender, it was a really uncertain time, and I honestly told her, I said, I don't know how I'm going to react to this. I said, I need a little bit of time to kind of process it. And it really didn't take me long. I've known I'm bisexual for a really long time. I knew I was into women before I knew I was into men. So it was something that, surprisingly, I took really well. And it was to everybody's surprise, because that was everybody's first question. Like, did you guys stay together? And yeah, we did. And we're really, really, really happy. And I'm going to show you what she looks like now in part 2. Yeah, so I'm bad at this TikTok thing. I didn't mean like part 2, I mean right now. So this is her. This is Erin. This is whose account you're on. She's adorable.
Hi.
It's we've found a lot of positivity though throughout all the things we've been through. Welcome to part 2. If you haven't watched part 1, it is on my profile. Like I've said in the last one, this is literally my first TikTok video. First time talking to a camera. I've avoided that for my entire 30 years, but I think our story is important to be shared to increase awareness that trans people are everywhere. They are loved. They are just as valid as cis people. So I want to start with some more pictures so you can really understand the changes that Erin has undergone in just under a year. We're at 11 months now. So this is our wedding day. We were both so nervous. Erin found out recently that she is autistic, so that's tied to it. We're both pretty generally nervous in most situations. But it was a really great day. We went to Disney Springs and got fried chicken and walked around and got cake there. And it was just the 2 of us. We went to the courthouse. Here is another pre-transition picture. This one I really like because we spent a lot of time at Disney when we worked there. You get in for free and you get so many passes that you can't really use because there's so many of them. Like, as a local, everybody you know can get in anyway. But here's us on the Skyliner, and that was like right after it opened, and we were both like really nervous. You can really see it on my face. It's like dangling in the sky. It was really fun. We spent a lot of time at Disney when we worked there. It was really a fun experience to have those benefits. So this picture, I picked this one specifically because it shows how much weight that she was at the point. She was at a point where it was either going to become a lot more of a problem or she was going to fix it. And as you can see by the lack of hair growth in this picture, she started pretty immediately after coming out. This is actually a bike we bought that was the exact same bike that Jazz Jennings used on I Am Jazz, which is the show that we watched religiously at the start just to get some topics flowing, to get us talking and understand what was about to happen. But she was so determined, she jumped on that bike, and as of today, she has lost over 50 pounds from it. Just realized I'm getting pretty close to the end here, so I'm gonna show some happy shit. Oh, can I say shit on TikTok? Aaron, can I say shit on TikTok? Okay. But yeah, this is us at Pride. It was really amazing to be on the float. She was really happy. It was, honestly, in the past, she was a pretty mellow person. She didn't, it's one of the people that doesn't stick out much, doesn't have much emotion, but her happiness level has gone through the roof, and I love it so much. All right, so I guess I ramble. I obviously have to do a part 3, so here is us with Jazz Jennings from I Am Jazz, and I'll talk about that and other fun stuff in part 3, I think. Welcome to part 3 of my wife and I's journey of self-love. The rest of the parts are on my profile. I'm honestly not sure how many it'll take to tell the whole thing. It's been 12 years that we've been together, and the last year has been pretty amazing and filled with lots of things that we've learned. Erin and I were recently on an episode of I Am Jazz. Jazz Jennings is a wonderful woman. She has lived a lot of her life in the public eye. She shared her story in hopes of educating others that trans people they're just normal people, and a lot of people don't understand that, like, that a trans woman is a woman. A trans man is a man. And you would really think that would be really simple for a lot of people, but unfortunately, there's a lot of closed-minded people in the world. And Jazz is doing a lot to correct that way of thinking, and we really think that's very inspiring. Her show, it gave us a lot to talk about. So when we had an opportunity to actually go on it and thank Jazz, that's us right there somewhere. Where's my finger? There's my finger. Right there. I had blue hair then. It was just an incredible experience. Because Jazz and her friends and family, they helped Erin gain a lot of confidence. There were a lot of moments in that show where Erin looked at me and said, "What do you mean I can do that?" And it's like, this is normal. People will be okay if I'm myself. And I think a lot of people really need that. And Jazz she's such a beautiful person. One really important thing that Jazz gave us to talk about through her show was surgeries. And not every trans person will get every surgery, but it is extremely important to listen to them about which procedures that they feel that they need. Erin will be getting facial feminization surgery as well as bottom surgery. And thankfully, she does have a really great insurance through her job, but that will only cover the bottom surgery, or most of the bottom surgery. Now, as most of Erin's dysphoria is centered around her face, unfortunately, that is the procedure that we were really hoping to get done first. But we are going into consults. We have our first one on Monday. We're going to be driving down to Miami, and we will be posting a GoFundMe once we know the exact costs. I want to talk a little bit about the people that have helped Erin achieve this kind of confidence that she has now, and really for myself as well. So at the start of this year, I was extremely depressed. I wasn't really taking care of myself, and I was diagnosed with an eating disorder called ARFID, basically extreme picky eating. At this point, I also realized that I've spent about 8 years of my life severely depressed, and that's the reason I hadn't gotten a job. I realized all the negative thoughts in my head didn't need to be there, and I went to therapy. And that is what part 4 is about, I guess, because we're right at the end. Welcome to part 4 of my wife and I's journey to self-love. The rest of the parts are on my profile. So, therapy. A lot of people get terrified at just hearing, like, the word, like, no, that's not for me. And that's honestly how I felt a year ago. Erin came out in January, and the first step was a therapy appointment. She chose an LGBTQ plus clinic in Orlando called Spectrum, and she brought me along. It was a therapy appointment that lasted about an hour, and we both sat there and just talked about what was going on, and we had already learned about the informed consent laws for getting on hormones, which basically means that we believe what a trans person says is in their mind, and then the condition of gender dysphoria is allowed to be treated, and it happens much quicker this way. So we just went to that one therapy session, and then Erin was able to get her medication at her next appointment, which was also at Spectrum with their nurse practitioner. We were so lucky that the process went so smoothly. But like, obviously for a lot of people, it doesn't go like that. We were really lucky. And here's where I really need to plug the place that helped us, because not only did they help in that situation whenever Erin needed her hormones, but as I mentioned, I have been pretty severely depressed. And after that initial therapy appointment, the gears started kind of turning in my head, like, wait a second, this lady was really nice. Like, maybe she could help me with my issues as well. So I switched all my primary care over to Spectrum 2. And it was the best health decision that I've made in my life. And I've spent a lot of time in hospitals. So that is where my pacemaker is. It is also a defibrillator. You know, it's funny, I've tried to name it over the years and nothing ever stuck. It's never had to go off. It is a defibrillator, so it's never had to shock me, but it is there because of conditions that I've had. After having Stella, our daughter, we found out that I could not have more kids because my heart acted up. I ended up with cardiomyopathy. And, you know, honestly, it was a huge shock to me at the time. I became really depressed afterwards. You know, whenever I was a kid, I used to tell my mom, I want to have a bunch of kids and I want to open a shelter for kids and I just want kids all around me. But honestly, at this point, it doesn't really matter to me or Erin, really, where life goes at this point, as long as we're just together and trying our best to be happy. You know, we grieved for a little bit that we won't be having more biological kids, but we're so lucky and so happy that we do have our one child, that even though she does have her other moms, they're so open with us, and it's just a really great situation. So yeah, I ramble a lot, but my point here is that therapy is a really amazing tool, and people really do exist out there to help you be your favorite self. And I hope you'll give us a follow and just continue to watch as our story unfolds.